How's it going, everybody? I am Donut, and we are reacting to Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 2, Episode 12, Who You Really Are. Obviously going to be in reference to Skye. I feel like it's probably also going to be in reference to Ward. I feel like it's probably also going to be in reference to... Raina. Like, it's probably going to be Gordon saying that to Raina also. I mean, in general, it's going to be about a lot of characters. But, I mean, primarily, I think Skye, Raina, and maybe not Ward then. Maybe, I think primarily it's just going to be said about those two. Let's get into it. If you want to check out the full length, get it for $8 a month. Check it out on the Patreon below. If you want to get the next one early, go check that out. It's for $4 a month. It's on the Patreon in the description below. Let's get into it. Man, this episode really opened up on very, like, Season 1 vibes with the supernatural cold open thing. We have not gotten that, really at all. Like, even though we've done some episodic episodes and stuff, you know, episodic in the sense of having a, like, villain that, you know, you always have the big bad who is sending out the smaller villains, like Whitehall, or now Cal is going to be doing that with the Index. You know, you always have those. But we haven't really had the cold open supernatural thing as strongly. Like, the painting thing was... It wasn't like a weird, okay, what's going on? Sif's here, she's got her mind erased, what's happening? And we're in another country, you know, with just a bunch of teenagers. Just, like, I think that's the big thing, of just having a bunch of random teens around. That's usually how a lot of the cold opens start. But yeah, the painting was more, you know, very immediately like, okay, there's somebody else that's around with the writings, and, you know, you kind of already got what was happening there. But yeah, so it hasn't been that long, especially from me, you know, watching all these, but it still felt really nostalgic getting that tone again at the beginning. I miss it. I hope we get some more of that sprinkled throughout the seasons, just, you know, one or two here and there. These episodes, you know, they're not as good as the like, more heavy plot-centric episodes, sure, but I do like them just sprinkled throughout the seasons if we continue to do that. I mean, speaking of the doing that, we had the, you know, everybody going out in the field, well, specifically the boys going out in the field with Mac, Fitz, and Hunter, which was cool, just seeing the boys out there in the trench coats out in the field and everything. Yeah, I miss the procedural feel of the show a bit. Again, I like this all stuff better, but, like, it does feel like, oh man, those were some good times, though. But that said, though, Coulson, like, Mac going to Coulson and saying, I don't want to be out in the field, I'm not a violent guy, which, total fucking bullshit at the end there. You know, maybe he didn't want to do it, but still, come on. He's saying he's not a violent guy to Coulson, and Coulson's like, yeah, but I need you out in the force, you're a force to be reckoned with. And yeah, like, he is, but just because he is that kind of person, you shouldn't be forcing him out on the field when, like, if he was doing that for everybody, then it's like, okay, sure, you know, this is part of the job, you gotta do, you know, this is just a part of the job, you have to be prepared for it. And I mean, the same thing was like back in season 1 with Fitz and Simmons, where they had to get prepared to the field, because that was just kind of the way it seemed like everything was. But the more we see of it, that's not the way things are. You don't have to be a field agent. You have to be comfortable with going out in the field sometimes, but he wanted him out there as, you know, defense or something like that, you know, in case, was it Vintok? Yeah. Well, I mean, I didn't know his name at the time, but in case Vintok, like, showed back up or something else happened, he wanted him out there because he could fight. As opposed to wanting Fitz and Simmons out there to study something, and then if something happens, get back. And let their actual field agents handle it. But yeah, this all wouldn't be as big of a problem if it wasn't for the fact that later in the episode, he just, like, Skye's like, you know what, I don't actually want to go out there. And Golden's like, okay, sure. Like, so easily. No question, just doesn't question it. Just, okay, yeah, okay. So he's, like, clearly giving special treatment, which is and I think that's a thing that a lot of people in the I mean, if I say a lot of people, I guess I mean Mac and Bobby. I think, as I said, I think my theory is that they're trying to form some sort of new shield or something. Like they're going after the lockbox. I think them and some other people have this idea of like they were not assigned by Fury. They're not doing this with Fury's knowledge at all, but they're keeping an eye on Coulson, being like, is he doing a good job? Is he running this correctly? Do we want to try and swoop it all from under his feet, grab the toolbox, and skedaddle? And, that would make sense of why Mac is saying, hopefully we can all be friends in the end, if they can just assimilate together. But, and I see where they're coming from. Coulson lost his mind. He was going through the fucking Creed alien memory juices. That was a real bad alien trip. A bad alien acid trip, as Hunter would put it. But yeah, that all going on alone, like, I bring that up all the time just because that alone, it's not him making the decisions. But when you have someone who just, because of the way that they are now, like, he can't help it, but that's also just the way he are. I mean, it's a very conversational thing. Talking about Skye now, too, with that. But, yeah, and it was susceptible to losing his mind. What's to say it won't happen again? In a meta sense, we know because of the show. But for them, as characters, they don't have the meta knowledge that it's a show and that plot line is probably, he's got it under wraps and we don't need to worry about him going crazy and needing to write anymore. But yeah, for them, it's I can understand why they would be trying to take this all out from under him without him noticing. And various things like with the Mac thing I just brought up, or plenty of other stuff. Overall, I think that Coulson is going to be a better director than whoever they have planned. Now, to be fair, I haven't seen them or anything, but I have a lot of criticism for Coulson, but ultimately, if you're in that position of power, you're gonna have a lot of criticism thrown at you. It's there's no choice that's perfect, right? So there's always gonna be something that I'm gonna be able to criticize him for. But ultimately, he is the best person to be director. Maybe I still think May. I think May could handle it. I really do. I think she would need somebody with her to help her communicate with people a lot better, but I do think she would be a good director. That said, I do think she likes being out in the field and stuff, so. I mean, I'm not sure if she likes it, but in the sense that I think she would get pent up. Like, I don't think she would be like, I want to go punch somebody, but just in the sense of wanting to be out, she likes the adrenaline of it, if not, the things they normally do. But she could probably just get into extreme sports, and I bet she would just enjoy that as well. But yeah, so I do think Coulson is deserving of director. I don't think that he should have it. I was questioning it at times a little bit earlier on, but now I'm confident in what he's doing, and I do believe in him wholeheartedly. I mean, he can do better. I say he can't be perfect, but there's certainly things like the picking favorites could definitely be a lot better. But yeah, what was the app? The beginning with the training with May actually looked really, really impressive. Like, a lot of times when you get that sort of training scene in a TV show, especially, the character, the actors aren't really trained for it, so they might have had like a little bit of training right before they've done it or something, so it looks kind of wonky or something, but damn, that actually looks really, really good. I assume they both, I do know that, I don't remember her actress's name, but Skye's actress, I know that she has some training. I assume May does, just naturally by everything I've seen her do. I don't think she has a stunt woman. I don't think she does. It seems like she's just her. But yeah, that whole sequence just looked amazing. And yeah, I would love to see Fitz going against May, even though it would last about 1 second. Yeah, so let's talk about Hunter. I feel so bad for him. I feel so bad for him. He's really, like, maturing a lot. He's trying to make this work. He's becoming permanent here at S.H.I.E.L.D. He's trying to make his relationship with Bobby work, and yet she's pushing him away. She's being cold even about S.H.I.E.L.D. stuff, like, trying to, you know, not really talking to him much about it. Bobby is wild when she touched him with the truncheon. I lost Bobby! You don't do that shit, man. Come on. Like, again, it's a show, so in a meta sense, it's like, that's probably gonna be fine. But it's like, this show also established in season 1, we had the whole episode with the Chitauri helmet and everything. And they're still so wild about just casually touching everything. And especially after this alien temple stuff and the Reina stuff. And you're just like, dude, just smack him with the hammer. Oh, these people. Oh, they don't think. They're wild. But, yeah, Hunter is just, I mean, everybody was, but he was left in the dark about Coulson's writing. He's being left in the dark about the Bobby and Mac stuff. He's being left in the dark about the Skye and Fitz stuff. Like, he's just feeling really closed off from everybody. At first, you know, he was talking with Mac about it, and Mac was talking to him about it, and then now he's even closed off from that side of it. Tries to connect with Fitz and everything, and now Fitz is pulling back into Skye, and yeah, just he has like nobody that is gonna talk to him about anything. The entire team is hiding everything from him. And with Bobby, Skye's getting suspicious of her too now, in the scene down there at the hospital. She was, you know, I'm not sure what led her on that like suspicion, but she definitely is getting suspicious of her. I mean, just being around Ward so much might be like she might just be. I wonder if Skye is going to be like an expert at telling who's lying later in the show, even because she's gonna have a lot of experience with it. Just in general, being around a lot of different people, from Whitehall to Reina to her father. I mean, did Cal ever lie to her? I guess not. Reina, I guess, wasn't lying to her, but was, you know, it's all semantics. But, either way. Oh yeah, that scene though in the hospital where, the woman says in Portuguese, like, you know, I can't remember my name or something like that, but she says in Portuguese, and then Bobby, who can speak Portuguese, and Skye, who cannot, turn to each other like, oh, did you hear that? Yeah, it's really nice getting to see Sif in plain clothes. That's why I'm just I'm really, really bad in the faces, so I just didn't recognize her at first. But yeah, the plain clothes did not help either. But they look good on her. They look great. And just seeing her act without her memories this episode, very, very funny. I couldn't include a lot of it in the edit. I wanted to, but I ended up having to cut quite a bit of it. But yeah, the whole just how innocent she always was, acting like a kid. Of like, you know, was I a warrior? Oh yeah, you were a good warrior. Yes, a great warrior. Or the whole Thor line and with May there. Really, a lot of comedy with Sif in this episode. And again, it feels like we're getting more Sif and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. than we are in all the movies combined thus far. Which is strange. I don't know if that's true, but it feels like it. It certainly feels like it. Oh yeah, and just every time S.H.I.E.L.D. it shows footage from somebody, like every time we have footage from an event, why is it always like it's filmed on a shitty like 2006 Nokia phone? It's garbage quality. It's so, I mean, it's not even bad quality. It's mainly that the frame rate on it is like abysmal. But it isn't that bad quality. Because one, they can zoom in on it, and so if you can zoom in on it and enhance it, then it's got to be high quality. But even without that, you can see that it is actually really high quality. It's just really, really terrible frame rate for some reason. I don't know why everybody's footage on their phone or camera or whatever is that in S.H.I.E.L.D. And the whole Vintok's like memory erasing truncheon thing, how the memory erasing worked specifically was like so bullshit. The whole episode they just kept pointing out of like, yeah, it erases her memories except for stuff that she remembers, you know, at like birth or whatever. It's like a child, and there's just like so much, you know, that she would know, and it's like, really, you know all this from a child, and just go with it. Yeah. All the Asgardians know this is a child. They know this entire alien language race, there's entire alien race's language at birth. Yeah, they know it all. Don't worry about it. So ridiculous, but I'm glad they kept pointing it out and just being like, yeah. But yeah, okay, so, surprisingly, Vintok was, like, acting on his own. He told no one about this, no other Kree will know about this, so I guess they just, will, you know, that's a reason for it to never be brought up in the movies as well. But yeah, so, the Kree will have, I guess he was the one to watch for this thing, and he wanted to go do it himself, because he was like, you know, if I don't do this myself, then the Kree are gonna fucking use these guys as slaves again, so let's do it. Because, let's be fair, we would too. Humans, if we found another alien race like that, if we found out, like, wait, we used to do this thing where we had, like, alien slaves? Well, yeah, let's just grab those slaves, grab them, get them. we would totally do that. They're not humans, they don't count. But, at the end of the episode, with everything going on with Skye, I'm really loving the connection between Skye and Fitz. You know, at the beginning of the series, Fitz having a crush on her, and then it just being like, yeah, there's nothing going on here at all. This is just going to be a friendship. But they really barely interacted that much. And yeah, but they're really, they work so well together. Every time they have been together, they work really nicely, just as a pair of actors, as a comedic duo, as in this, you know, chunk of episodes I showed, as dramatic duo. Like, they just, in any kind of setting or role, work really, really well together. Their characters and their actors as well. And yeah, so I'm loving that. It's great. Great shit. But at the same time, it's forming this big rift between Fitz and Simmons, which, you know, might be for the better. Honestly, it might be for the better. As we've pointed out, Simmons kind of just makes Fitz worse at this point. And yeah, I don't know. I honestly, I think he's become a much better character, the less he's been around her. And I don't think that makes Simmons a bad character. Simmons is definitely a very understandable character. She's in a spot right now where it's hard to like her, or like, you know, root for what she's saying, but it's definitely it's understandable where she's coming to, or where she's coming from. But yeah, she's taking very drastic stances, so it's hard to like be like, yeah, Simmons is great right now, but you know, I do understand where she's coming from, and I do love, like, I don't know why, I just find it so entertaining when the characters are just screaming at each other and really getting out all that emotion, like with Mac and them screaming at the end of the episode there. And now she's locking herself away, quarantining herself again from all of them. And I don't know what next episode's even gonna be. Probably dealing with another Index person. We're gonna see what happened with Reyna again. Like what's going on with her and Gordon and them. I guess it's probably gonna be a lot of away from S.H.I.E.L.D. time. And when we cut back to S.H.I.E.L.D., it's gonna be a lot of them just trying to convince Skye to, you know, come out. But, you know, if your friend could just destroy you at any time, could completely, you know, hug you, and then your body just dismantles, that's terrifying. It's terrifying. I get it. It's not a kill you situation, but it's definitely a, you know, I'm not sure how I feel about this friendship sort of situation. I want to say that I would still be friends with somebody like that, but I don't think I would. I think if this was real life, I would distance myself from them. So I can't blame any of them for doing it. You know, I want to be like, oh, you guys are bad friends, but come on, dude, you're gonna die. I mean, you hope you're not going to, but do you want to gamble it? But though to be fair, Skye dismantling that gun in her hand with all the things flying apart, that looked fucking incredible. That looked amazing. The effects are really, they're getting so much better. Really, like, I was expecting it to be a gradual increase, but it really was just like, meh, not that great, not that great, not that great, really good. It just suddenly got a lot better. They brought out the new icers, that were designing new icers that are more dangerous and everything like that. And I said, we use tasers on people. And I would like to point out that we used if you want to say, well, the old icers or night gun, we only used it on the indexed people anyway, or I guess they weren't indexed at the time, but just we only used it on people who were posing a threat because they were supernatural in some way. And it was just like, subduing them. It was not dangerous. But we do just shoot another person with it. We shot the girl, I don't remember her name, but we shot the girl in 1X9 Repairs. The one that had Tobias Ford. He was like coming through dimensions and shit. That episode, they shot her with the gun. They thought that she was kind of supernatural, but she wasn't. She was just a normal-ass fucking person. And a lot of the people are just normal-ass people. Their body chemistry shouldn't be any different, really. In terms of what the icer does, I would assume, like Donnie Gill, if they shot him with an icer, a normal icer, I would assume it should be fine, right? They actually, like, aside from he could probably freeze, himself or something, but I don't know. I guess it would. I don't remember if they actually talked about that. We might have actually tried to, and it didn't work. But either way, I still stand by what I say. It's better than shooting them. It's better than killing them. It's better than not doing anything. It's dangerous, but like we shouldn't be using it unless they're being dangerous anyway, right? Like it's like getting upset and giving a police officer a taser. It's like, well, what do you want him to do? Beat him with a stick? Like, it's dangerous, but it's... What do you want? Like, I love Fitz, but at that point, that's stretching it. That's stretching your, we're being bad people. We're not being bad people. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with this new icer. I have no moral problem with this new icer at all. I mean, it's also like this net thing. It's a lot more shocky, it seems, than neurotoxin. But still, that's fine. Speaking of things that don't do anything, by the way, the, gun thing, I know it's called, Coulson's Revenge or whatever, but the gun that they were supposed to kill Loki with, they shot Fintok with it, and it did nothing! It did nothing to him! What did they think it was gonna do to Loki? Bad plan! Really bad plan. I gotta say though, for the longest time, back at my reaction to Captain America: First Avenger, I was posed to the question, what do I think Captain America: Civil War will be about? And I was like, I've got no fucking clue. Is he gonna go back in time and fight the Civil fucking War? I don't know. And then throughout the movies, I have just continued to occasionally mention, what the fuck is Civil War gonna be? As we get closer to it, and I'm still far away, I'm still considering how much shows I have to get through and stuff, still very far away from it, but as we get closer, I still kept going, I don't see what the fuck Civil War could be about, but now I finally think I see it! Now I think the Civil War is a civil war between people who are on the side of people with powers and people who are against it, but we're seeing that already. So if that's happening already, I'm not sure how we're gonna wait to Civil War to do it, because it's happening right now. The whole team is seemingly being split into two different groups, and they're still talking. They're still a group right now. But if we do go down the two shields thing, I'm thinking, not permanently, but if Bobby and Mac's whole thing is that they got a secret people from S.H.I.E.L.D. who are making another S.H.I.E.L.D., but they don't have a toolbox, so they're not really doing anything. They're kind of just waiting and accumulating stuff, and I don't know what they're doing. But if that's the case, I think it will be Bobby, Mac, Simmons. On the other side, I think it's going to be Skye, Fitz, Coulson, May, Hunter. Skye, Fitz, Coulson, May, Hunter. Yes. Who am I? The Koenigs are just not around, so I don't care. I'm kind of mad about the Koenigs. I wish they would just write him out of the story, then rather than just not be around ever. I love them when they are around. Don't get me wrong. I love them when they're around. But it's kind of annoying having them supposed to be Coulson's right-hand man sort of thing. And they're just never around. They weren't even around for Tripp's death. So who else? Am I forgetting anybody? I don't think I am. But yeah, it feels weird to just think it's just going to be those three, but I guess so. Yeah, I can't think of anybody else we know in S.H.I.E.L.D. who's going to be on their side. Oh boy. I can't think. No. We still haven't seen Agent Weaver or whatever. I've talked about that. Agent Weaver. Maybe she would be on the side of no powers. Fuck the powers. She's a scientist, but still. Maybe. Who else we got? We got Blake. He was in a coma. What do I don't know if he would. I don't know. I couldn't even begin to think one way or the other. I guess he would be against, right? He seemed to not be that great of a guy. Like, he did do the cool switch out the guns tracker thing with Mike, but ultimately he's been mostly a dick. Then that's it, right? No one else is still around that we know of in S.H.I.E.L.D. There's Agent 13 from the movie Winter Soldier, but she is in the CIA now, so I can't imagine. I mean, she could just be secretly in the CIA, but I don't know. Hill could come back, maybe. Doubt it. I feel like she's going to be in Stark. It would be really weird for them in the movie to be like, yeah, she's in Stark Industries now, and then the next movie be like, and now she's not. But the same could be said about Agent 13, though. So, I don't know. That's it. That's all I got for this episode, I guess. I will see you guys for the next one. Until then, get the fuck out of here.